What's up, everyone? How everyone is feeling today? Nice to see you again. Welcome back to another live stream. And you know, I missed you guys from yesterday already. And today I have exciting news, as usual. But today are a little bit more exciting than usual, I think. How everyone? Dukaten, welcome. Emily Nev, welcome. Josh, Dylan, Yakari, welcome to the live stream. Welcome everyone. Vero0SN, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you, man. How everyone is feeling today? Another week behind us, another week of work. I know today is Friday and you know, we can relax a little bit more. First of all, Philippe Crew, thank you so much for the resubscription on Twitch. I really appreciate your support, dude. Thank you so much. Mateus, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you. Yasin, welcome to the live stream as well. Yaziz, welcome, man, from Turkey. Nice. What's up, Josh? Nice to see you, man. Don Fatis asked me if I will be in Amsterdam. Yes, I will be in Amsterdam in end of January, beginning of February for Laravel EU, but also for a little bit, you know, I will be there a few days before so I can be with the Laravel Cloud team, but also I will be on the Versal meetup as well. No meeting today, no. Patrick, welcome to the live stream. Daniel, welcome to the live stream, man. Nice to see you. Mohamud, welcome to the live stream as well. All right, you guys want to see the exciting news we have? Do you guys want to see the exciting news we have? Just check this out. You guys ready? You guys ready? Just check this out. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And yes, we finally choose a domain for our SaaS, for our application. Yes, boy. Yes, 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 sir. We have finally a domain, man. Oh my god. And the domain is cool, right? Panelize.com. What do you guys feel about this domain? I really like this domain. I feel like, first of all, if you Google this domain, there is nothing, okay? That's kind of unusual for a short domain like this one. There is literally nothing out there yet, you know? On top of that, the GitHub was literally available. So here I searched for Panelize and it's literally available as well. So only good news, man. Like the GitHub is available, the domain is fully available as well. So I guess we got, you know, we got ourselves a domain. Yinda, welcome to the live stream. Today I'm building, well, I've been building a Google Analytics alternative for the last 2 live streams. And, you know, will be some sort of analytics for us, basically, you know, a web application where people can include their script tag on top of their websites and track the visits and everything here. Just basically a SaaS done with Laravel, PHP, and everything we love, boy. Phil, congratulations. Thank you, man. I also really like this name, by the way. Okay, I really like this name. I feel it's a very cool name, and you know, I'm happy about this. So I feel like after closing this domain, I just bought a domain as well. So yeah. Thank you, thank you. There is also like this issue with a bunch of names, which I feel we can close already. So let's close this. So this domain is fully available, and I feel like last live stream I ended with kind of a request for some of you, which is, you know, some of you come up with a pull request that adds architectural tests. Not a lot of people know about this, but actually Past PHP comes with this, you know, with this possibility of writing architectural tests, and I just merged a pull request from Punu, which is Emily. There we go, I knew it. And what it does, it's kind of simple, just uses the preset of PHP, Laravel, and the preset security. Okay, this is kind of very neat and useful. It's 3 lines of code if you were to add this architectural preset to your projects, and it's very simple. The first one, which is called PHP, what it does is kind of ensuring that you are not using anything you shouldn't in PHP. Things like eval, you know what I mean? Like deprecated functions and things like that. The second one ensures that you are using the best practices in Laravel So, we can actually check that out. Let me go here into past PHP real quick. Yeah, past PHP/past. Let's click here on source and click on architectural presets and click on Laravel. And, for example, I expect everything. This is kind of funny. So this architectural preset, what it does is that expects everything under traits to be only traits. Oh my God, there we go. Everything under concerns to be only traits as well. Everything under app enums to be only enums. This kind of deal, you know what I mean? Also, for example, ensures that everything under app exceptions actually implements the throwable in PHP, which is kind of cool. What else? Yeah, we have as well that all form requests should be suffixed with requests. Kind of good practices within the Laravel ecosystem, you know what I mean? Yeah, Kari, these presets come from past PHP, which is literally, the testing framework I'm using. It comes with this kind of presets, they are literally one line, as you can see. Literally one line, and it comes with a bunch of checkers that basically makes your lives easy, you know what I mean? There's a few more, like expects everything under mail to extends mailable, for example. Oh, also this one, which is quite nice, ensures that all mails, for example, are actually queuable. So you don't have to, send emails literally in runtime, and it will be processed by queue jobs, which is kind of cool. And there is a bunch of stuff, really cool stuff like this. Oh, this one is very nice as well. Do you know, guys? Like, I'm a big fan that my controllers need to have only like index, show, create, store, edit, update, and destroy. And I have literally this architectural preset that checks that for me. So checks that everything under controllers should not have any public method besides, index, show, create, store, edit, and destroy. Exithos, I typically use enums for enumerations, by the way. Jonas, welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you, dude. By the way, how was your week? Did you guys have a good week so far? It's Friday, the weekdays are over, and you can now relax over the weekend. Mohamed is saying that it is hard to keep that structure, the REST methods. Why would you say that? I feel like all my applications, like for example, Laravel Cloud has possibly to 100 controllers at this point, and we are always using the REST methods. Only index, only store, only, We can talk a little bit about this today if you want to. Because literally I feel like typically if you need another method besides the ones that, besides these ones, like index, show, create, store, edit, update, destroy, if you need another method besides this one, typically means that you need another controller, basically. You know what I mean? That's what I feel, at least. Tilly, welcome to the live stream, and Danis as well. Nice to see you. Exactly, just one line, that's it. Jonas is working on client's website. Nice, man. The preset doesn't work with DDD, at least with it only works with application structure that comes with Laravel. Yasin is asking, when reach for app features? So app features comes from this package, which I literally forgot the name. How is it called? The feature flagged package for Laravel. Is it Pennant, I think? Yeah. Pennant literally allows you to have app features folder, and you typically would have only features within that folder. So it's kind of a specific thing from Laravel Pennant. Oh, I feel like today we can actually talk a little bit about this controller situation. I feel like some of you are a little bit confused, like when, that you probably feel the need of having another method. And I can tell you already that typically I never have that feeling, I just create another controller for it. Duca10 typically might not be actually an invocable controller. It might be actually... I actually don't use a lot like the invoke method. You know what I mean? Because, for example, I'm going to give you a real example. Imagine that you have a user, for example, you know? You have obviously a user controller, which allows you to have, you know, the list of users potentially, but also the store, you know, this kind of deal. But you have something like, call it profile image. You know what I mean? You would have a new controller, call it profile image controller, and you would allow only the update method, which would update the image for the current session the user. You know what I mean? Exactly. Lobster Canary is actually, that video is really cool. It's literally, you know, it's literally a video about everything I'm saying. It's called Crudy by Design by Adam Whedon. There we go.
All right.
I'm going to send you guys a link in case you want to check it out later. But Adam Whedon, during this presentation, literally talks a little bit about my way of thinking of controllers, where typically, you know, if you have the need of having another public method besides the ones we specified, that should be a new controller. Yeah, back in the days, Adam was still doing a lot of Laravel. Now he's like a superstar on the CSS world. Hopefully, during the live stream today, we're going to talk a little bit more about controllers. Today, I had this goal in mind of literally start working on consuming some events from the API, you know? Let's recap a little bit what we have done so far, okay? So I'm going to open here our penalize.com real quick. Let's close past and go. Oh, by the way, I published a YouTube video today regarding immutable dates. This video has been quite popular so far, one of the most fastest growing in terms of views, in comments as well, in number of likes as well. So obviously a lot of people, you know, resonate a little bit with the problems that this video literally solves. So I'm going to send you the link. If you guys missed it, you can literally check it out now. Junior, welcome to the live stream, dude. Nice to see you. But basically, you know, this video is about that you should literally use immutable dates. And we noticed that, like, literally, if I go to my penalize.com right now, you can see that over app providers and then app service provider, you know, I have a bunch of stuff like, you know, forbid DB destructive comments in production, or you know, ensure my models are strict and they are on guard. I force HTTPS as well, or aggressive prefetching. But something I'm doing as well is force immutable dates, and that video is about that and about what this little line solves in your Laravel apps. Thank you so much, Constantine. I really appreciate that you liked the, you know, that was really nice, yeah. Because literally, like, the Carbon was just mutable back in the days, and the immutable thing came after. Claudio, welcome to the live stream, dude. Nice to see you. Yeah, the video has become quite popular, this one about immutable dates. And, you know, if you want to, you know, recap a little bit what I have talked about and how can you fix in your Laravel apps, which is literally by doing this, you can watch the video. But, you know, I have encountered the problem that I detailed on this video countless times already, countless times. And I just know that if I'm using immutable dates, I don't have to worry about anything, so it just feels better. Hi, Nickname. Nice to see you, man. But yeah, that being said, let's start getting some work done today. So let's recap a little bit. Two streams ago, we started a new Laravel project, and the only thing we have done on that project was literally configure the skeleton. So we installed a new Laravel project, and we, you know, we set up some of the tooling we really like. For example, Reactor PHP, Past PHP with type coverage enabled, Past PHP with coverage with 100% as well. We have Pint, we have PHP Stan, and we have all of that running by running a single composer test. So this entire test suite is running just by typing composer test. And you're obviously using our newest tool we just have created during the live stream as well, call it Pack. Now, once we set up the skeleton plus the testing environment, everything we have done was get over to this workflows on GitHub and making sure we call composer test at the end of each code we introduce on this new project. And obviously at the moment, the CI is literally passing as we expect. After this, we also set up some of the defaults we really like on Laravel applications. So for example, on my app service provider, I'm doing multiple things, such as prohibit destructive commands in production or configure dates to be immutable. Once we have done this, we have started to configure a little bit, the domain logic, not the domain logic, I apologize. We started a little bit to, create our tables, but also our models. So for example, if we go to database migrations, you can see already a bunch of migrations being created. Most likely like this project's migration, for example, which, which uses some of the things I really like. For example, unique constraints on the name, because we don't want to have, similar projects with the same name. But also, for example, we are not using on delete cascade, which is something I don't like a lot. I'm not a fan of delete cascades because I feel like I want to control any kind of side effects on my database, on my application. So I don't want to end up with, for example, deleting a record and then just because I made a mistake, that will delete like the entire database cascading down. So I never use cascade deletes because I don't like them a lot. Okay, so I avoid them as much as possible. And besides this migration, we also have created the pages migration, which contains views in the average time on the website. Typically, this analytics product will be very simple by default. We talked about that already. Our goal is to have a very simple analytics tool, which does the following. We have obviously an home page with, for example, this amount of views, but also typically people spend 2 minutes on this website, on this page, apologize. But also like on the about page, for example, they spend, I have this amount of views, for example, already, and potentially people spend 5 minutes on this given page. Okay, so obviously we created a bunch of tables for this, but also as well, all our models that we need, and including all the relations that are necessary for this sort of things. But Isco is asking how the Laravel team what the Laravel team uses to manage tasks. You track either projects, and what do you use personally to keep track of what needs to be done? We use GitHub and a tool called Linear. So basically, we have GitHub for kind of the open source stuff, but to kind of keeping track if the project is moving forward. The products like like Cloud or Forge, we use something called Linear. Kira, I have no idea what is architectural decision records. Apologize. Claudio, I'm also happy about the domain. I feel like it's a really good domain, and I'm happy about that. Anonymous Game, welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you, man. V0SN, some behind the scenes will probably be very cool from Laravel at some point. Yeah, I'll think about that. Why not? I've been thinking like literally documenting my day, literally just grabbing the phone and, just saying, oh, this is like today, this is typically what I do. I have breakfast and then, I check my email or my issues and kind of doing a video like that. I'm using PHP Storm, okay? PHP Storm is my editor of choice, especially for PHP. Is literally the best editor in the world, I think. I'm using JetBrains Mono Nerd font at the moment with size 20 and lane width of 1.1. I'm also using the color scheme, Cappuccino Mocha, and the Cappuccino Mocha icons as well. Yasin is asking me if Pinkery still is running on SQLite. Yes, it's still running on SQLite, and I love SQLite. I'm probably using SQLite for this project for everything. SQLite for sessions, SQLite for caching, SQLite for queue jobs, SQLite for the database itself, like literally everything. I'm going to use SQLite for everything on this project. SQLite is probably one of the most underrated piece of softwares in the world. It's literally being used by every single device you have, and people don't know about that, which is kind of crazy. It powers airplanes. It's just crazy, man. SQLite is just, you know, and it's so fast. It's so reliable. I love SQLite. Verm is asking, what is the throughput of Postgres or MySQL? I don't get your question. I apologize. Yasin is asking, when bridge to MySQL over SQLite? I don't know, man. I mean, if you most of projects would run very well on SQLite, to be honest. I don't really know, you know. I feel like SQLite is very cool for readings, but it's not that fast for writings, so. Exathos is asking if I use the same SQLite file for sessions caching on permanent data. It is possible to have different SQLite files for those kind of, you know, for different drivers, basically. I haven't done it yet, though. Pinker is using the same SQLite file for everything. It's just super fast. It just works. Someone is asking, what happens when you need to have multiple servers? Actually, SQLite already supports like replication through multiple servers. I don't think it's through SQLite, but there is something that does that, like literally deduplication between multiple servers. So you can literally still using SQLite. But if this project at some point reaches the, you know, the need of actually going through multiple servers, I guess, you know, I just switch to RDS or something like that, so I don't have to think about that, and I will have automatic backups and things like that. Mohamed is saying, I think for sessions and caching, it's better to use Redis. Yeah, but I mean, for this project, SQLite will be probably fine. You know what I mean? Like, not probably, it will be 100% for sure fine. Redis is super fast, but realistically, there is not a lot of projects that need that level of being fast, basically, you know? Anonymous Game is saying, I've been working with Laravel since version 4.2, and Taylor and you have done a great job. Thank you, man. I really appreciate those words. I really appreciate. Thank you. Govar, welcome to the live stream. And Pick and Flow, nice to see you, dude. Okay, let's get some stuff done today. All right, so I've been thinking a little bit. So far, we have how much further we got yesterday. Actually, I think we got very, you know, we did the decent progress by creating page and user. That is something that I'm pretty sure we need before moving to actions, which is this, you know, kind of prepare the database to receive payloads with events, of course. All right, okay. So let's think a little bit. Let's open here playground.md and think a little bit all together, okay? Something developers need to think a little bit sometimes is that before jumping into code, just think a little bit, just write your thoughts down, you know, and discuss them with the team. Connor is saying that setuping Laravel with Svelte 5 is kind of complicated. I didn't know that. I think that is even like some sort of, you know, starter kits out there with Svelte 5. Why would that be a pain though? I'm curious about that. Exathos, thank you so much for the 2-month subscription tier 1. By the way, I really appreciate Exathos, your support, by the way. But for those who don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP and Laravel developer. I'm a Laravel core team member, and I'm also passionate about PHP. And I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube, and publishing YouTube videos at 1 p.m. every single day. If you like my content, if you enjoy this stream, please leave me a like, a subscribe, you know, and follow all my socials. If you want to see a little bit more about me, I'm going to publish here my socials, which is literally all this stuff. If you want to, you know, find a little bit more about me. If you're watching me from X or or TikTok, switch to YouTube or Twitch because it's just way more fun. I was just thinking, like, yesterday we've made progress with, you know, kind of the project's domain logic, but also the pages one. And something I want to kind of set up is this entity that receives a bunch of payloads. I was thinking potentially, was that inside? Let me check real quick. 1 second. Yeah, I was thinking about activity, you know, because at some point through API, we are going to receive like a payload of events, and I want to kind of track that and call that activity. So here, for example, this will be a payload which will have ID. Mohamed, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Hi, João. Nice to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Nuno Costa is asking me the difference in performance between sessions SQLite and on in the file. I don't know, dude. I feel like probably will be kind of the same because it's still file-based, both SQLite and a regular file. Undeniably, having those on SQLite kind of makes things a little bit more organized, I feel. But yeah, I'm using SQLite for kind of everything. And there is also this project called it Turso, which someone was saying, like, what happens if you need like multiple servers and blah, blah, blah. Potentially we could migrate to Turso and have our database over there, which Turso is a SaaS that, you know, gives you access to SQLite database as a service. And, you know, we could access that service to have SQLite database. But I was saying that we talked about having projects and pages, and I was thinking have this middle layer called activity, which potentially will have all of those events. So here, for example, we would have something like ID, but also session ID, and this would be the session ID will be basically kind of some sort of anonymous key that will attach this activity to a specific user. You know, we don't need this for now because we are not still tracking like users. We track views, but potentially this will allows us to do that. And inside each activity, we are going to have some sort of events string. This will be kind of the entire payload that comes through the API. And then through queue jobs, we are going to consume these events and kind of alter both the column views and average time of our pages based on this events information. So that's what I was thinking, okay? So just to recap a little bit, I was thinking about having a new table called activity, which obviously will have an ID, but it will have as well a string or a long text. I need to think a little bit about that, which contains all of the events on the string format. On the JSON format, apologize. And afterwards, we are going to have a queue job, which, you know, every minute, for example, will process any pending activity on the table. And by process is like doing the following. We'll literally fetch all the activities like this. And for each one of them, we'll literally like, you know, give me the events back. Like this, something like this. And for each one of those events, I'm going to kind of, okay, let's understand what we have here. So we have a visit on this particular page. It was 2 visits on this URL, 3 visits on that one, you know, and the user spent typically 3 minutes on this particular page. I think I meant that website, Claudio. Claudio is asking if I meant turso.tech. I meant the Turso SaaS that literally gives you back SQLite database as a service. Pick and Flow, I'm curious about that. Why you think potentially the queue with affect the time that is logged? How do I calculate the time spent on the website? So ideally, we give some sort of agent in JavaScript where users can put this, you know, put this on the site. And every single, let's say, every single minute, we are going to queue any event that already occurred during that visit, and we are going to send those events through our API. In our API, we'll log that activity. We are going to call this batch of events an activity, and this activity will be pending to be processed. And the way I was thinking is that we are going to have a queue job, call it potentially process pending activities. You know, some sort of job like this. And this job will basically grab everything we have under the activity table and kind of process those bulk events one by one. Milok, you didn't got a notification? Oh my god, I'm sorry, dude. Welcome to the live stream. Yasin is asking, what do you mean by middle layer activity? Well, you know, I'm gonna try to recap this a little bit. So obviously we have projects and pages, and our goal is that, you know, each one of these pages will have some sort of URL and views, and also over time, let's make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, over time we'll have something like average time. I think it's really average time is the name we have on the database. Okay. Now, when a given user visits a website, for example, and clicks on 3 different buttons, you know, and does various things, we don't want to like send immediately that event. You know, we want to batch those events somehow on a JavaScript layer, and at some point we're going to send this through our API. Okay. And I want to call that process of sending that big payload one activity. So one activity will contain multiple events. You know what I mean? So that activity will obviously have an ID, will be received through our activity controller, method store to be precise. And the method store will receive that bulk event that contains multiple events. Okay, that bulk activity that contains multiple events. So those events will be stored as a JSON format under the events column. And the way I was thinking is that we do have some periodic job, which is called process pending activities job, that will do the following. Every minute, for example, we'll go to this particular table and we'll check, do we have any activity to be processed? And the answer will be probably yes, you know what I mean? And we just process that activity. Now, one question I have is the following. Should we dispatch a queue job each time we store this, potentially, you know, call this process pending activity like this, and we just basically process activities one by one? Or should we have a single job that literally goes and process the pending ones? This is kind of a question I have. Adrian is saying you could use a beacon in GS to send these events. Yes, I'm literally using the beacon already on pan.php, by the way. Yakira, exactly. So the events will contain a timestamp when the records were sent. This is probably the original question from Pick and Flow. Pick and Flow was thinking that we are going to kind of, you know, save the timestamp directly on the backend, but the timestamp comes from the front end Pick and Flow. That's the way I was thinking. João Santos is asking, why would you store the events as JSON column? If so, don't. Okay, I'm going to explain you why I was thinking to store them as JSON column. This is something that I typically don't do, okay? However, these events will be basically temporary information that will never be queryable. You know what I mean? This activity layer right here will potentially exist simply and only as a temporary placeholder to be processed by a queue job. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's even worth it to have an events table. Okay, we could do that. I just think it's just overhead for a temporary information. I'm curious, why would you say no though? Another option we have, but I'm not really sure if I want that, is that another option we have is not have an activity table at all and simply have something like this. Each time someone, you know, each is the API like this, we'll call something like, let's see, activity activity controller store, each time someone reach this API with a bunch of events, we immediately send this through a job, you know what I mean, with the app, with the payload inside. The reason why I don't think I want to do this, it's because typically queue drivers, they have a limitation on in terms of the payload we can send on those jobs. For example, if we were to have activity controller store, which will store the activity, and then instead of saving it in a database, we would immediately dispatch a queue job with that information within the job, I feel like we are going to probably hit some limitations of the queue driver. For example, SQS, it's like limited the amount of payload we can have, for example. That's correct, Mohamed. We will kind of, bulk those events on the JavaScript layer, that's for sure. Yeah, Cam, that's literally what I was thinking. Like, literally, batch them for ingestion using this activity table, and then have this job behind the scenes that literally will normalize those events. Hi, Thales, welcome to the live stream. Mohammed is asking, why would you bulk those events on the front end instead of sending them immediately? So one of the reasons is that over time, you will want to store clicks, overs, for example. You are overing a particular section. You want to potentially, track scrolling and everything. And something you don't want to have is sending those events individually one by one. That will end up with, potentially 100 HTTP requests for the customer, but also would end up being a little bit overkill for us. So something we want is literally kind of bulk everything on the front end on the customer side, and then when the client is about to leave the page, or potentially about after a few seconds, we kind of bulk some of those events and send them in the single HTTP request. That's what I have done with PanPHP, by the way. So this project I have created called a PanPHP already does some of these techniques. This, by the way, was a very successful project. We reached 1,000 GitHub stars, and I think it was like in a week or something. And what we are doing on the front end is literally like kind of already bulk in queue this event, so we don't have to deal with a bunch of HTTP requests. Okay. And I'm using Beacon, kind of using the best practices and tracking clicks and everything. Ishmael is asking, what if the browser tab is closed? Do you still send the bulk way? Yes. So I'm using Beacon, the API. Not a lot of people know about this, but there is this API native in all browsers called Navigator Send Beacon. And what it does is exactly that. And even if the user is about to leave the page, I'm going to still send those events using this API, which process this HTTP post literally asynchronous, which is so powerful. TJ Miller, thank you so much for raiding with a party of 2. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Beacon is so powerful, man. It's a very cool API from the browser, by the way. Yeah, it also a post as well, which is kind of cool. And I'm very happy about having this API on the front end. I appreciate the raid, TJ Miller. Thank you, man. Exactly, and avoiding unnecessary requests. So the information those events are going to have, this is something that we need to talk about. But I feel like let's proceed with something. Let's get something done, and then if we need to improve things, let's iterate on those things. Like, I'm going to tell you something that happened multiple times already on Laravel Cloud, is that if we do things, Noik, by the way, thank you so much for the subscription through Prime. I really appreciate your support. Something I always do, is that I'm not afraid of iterating over things. Like, when you do things, it's not like you cannot come back and just redo things again. Especially this phase, I just want to move fast. Okay, obviously we could do this differently and thinking about the future and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I just want something that does the job for this MVP. And I feel like have this sort of activity table which just saves the records to be processed by a queue job. Does the job very nicely, okay? So let's move forward. Let's start by opening our terminal real quick and getting some stuff done. First of all, do we have a passing test suite? Let's run composer update, composer bump, and composer test to see if we have everything passing nicely. Massive is asking, what is Pan about? Pan is literally this project. I'm going to show you while this is running. Pan is literally this PHP package which you can install in your Laravel project, and then we'll track things like, you know, the tab summary, for example, had 65k impressions, 3,000 overs, for example, and 2,000 clicks, and it's focused on privacy, gets stored in your own database, but it's kind of a local thing, and it doesn't give me the kind of insights that I want, you know. I want like truly insights, like, for example, a customer added 2 products to the cart or to the chart, and he didn't pay because he left while introducing the address. This is kind of granularity I want. Yeah, Josh, we need to move forward, you know, and then if we, you know, if we're not happy with it, we just change it, but we need to get the MVP out. You're welcome about the information about the beacon. It's actually a very cool thing. Oh, someone is asking if what is the relation between the payload size and the different drivers. So I can explain it. For example, if you're using Amazon SQS for queue jobs, it's like limited the amount of payload that you can introduce on that queue job, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 256 kilobytes. It's the amount of payload that you can have maximum, for example. But let's move forward. Let's go to our coding and let's start understanding, by the way, why we don't have table holidays. Oh, I think I was literally doing something. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna just reset hard real quick. There we go. All right, let's type composer update, bump, and composer test. Everything should still be passing. Yesterday was really nice in passing, so I don't see a reason why today is not passing. There we go. And Reactor PHP running really nicely as well. So this SaaS basically will be the customer registers on the SaaS, and then we'll get or collect a JavaScript kind of script tag, just like Google Analytics does. And, you know, once it does that, it's kind of it, I think, you know, that's it. I don't have the non-alias now. GKV is saying your English is very good. Thank you. Yeah, I speak basically English, French, and Portuguese at the moment. What languages do you guys speak, by the way? Write in the chat. What is your native language, by the way? Write on the chat. I want to see, like, what is your native English at the moment? Yep. Meanwhile, I'm going to just commit this with shore, bump dependencies real quick. Oh my god, we have a lot of Portuguese people right here. Old Goat is PT, Ducatan is PT, Golveda is PT, Claudio PT. We have some French people over here as well. German, French, Swedish, Spaining, Nordwing, English, French, PT again. Interesting. On TikTok as well. Polish, Spanish, and PT as well. Oh my god. I should do some live stream in Portuguese as well. Let me just do this real quick. Oops. There we go. Rebased and push. Virgin is saying my main language is PHP. Let's go, dude. All right, folks. Time to move forward. First order of business. Let's create a new table. Typing PHP artisan make model, and let's call this activity. Okay. So again, activity will be when people send a bunch of events on the single activity. Okay. So again, just to recap. We have projects, we have pages. Pages are going to have multiple activities. In those activities, we'll have multiple events, okay? So let's create a model with a migration, but equally factory. So each time we are creating a model, and I literally learned this on stream, you can literally provide this flag -mf to create the model and the factory, the migration and the factory at the same time, okay? So as you can see, bim, it's literally done. We can now move forward with clicking the create activities table. And what we want to do for now is literally having this table or this string with all of the events sending through the payload. Do I want to save this as a long text? Probably medium text for the moment works very nicely. This is already 16 megabytes, which is kind of crazy. Let's use medium text for now and think a little bit about that later, okay? Let's call this events. I could potentially use the -- past in deep to create a test for the model as well. I could use long text, but I think long text is even bigger than medium text, so I'm not really sure. Claudia is asking if the medium text is for the raw JSON. Yes, it is. SQLite doesn't support JSON, if that is. I don't think it does. Let me just check that. It does. Okay. I was literally thinking that SQLite doesn't support JSON columns. Interesting. Okay. Well, that was a surprise. That was a surprise. I didn't know that. But like this type of column, how many JSON it can handle, by the way? You know what I mean? Like if I have a big chunk of events. I mean, we can validate like the size at some point, right? But let's keep it JSON for now. GoStar, I have never used Blueprint, but I heard good stories about Blueprint in terms of bootstrapper of your project. -- past on make model person was something introduced by a contributor called Luke Downing, which I'm a big fan of, and yeah. Stockton, I'm literally using already the JSON column, by the way. I didn't know it was supported by SQLite, by the way, but apparently it is. So let's use that. So this is not nullable, of course. This is not nullable as well, and we have timestamps, and that's it. So this is done. We don't need the down method. We talked about this already. It's just a waste of time. Something we need, though, is a foreign key for the page ID? No, for the project, right? Because the events make actually... Exactly. This will be literally for the project ID. And we don't have cascade on deletes, okay? We talked about this. We don't want cascade on deletes at all. So constrain project ID, and then we consume those events and kind of alter the information on the page table regarding that information on the events table. So this looks cool. I did already run the migration. So something I will do is literally type PHP artisan migrate fresh. There we go. And the next step would be kind of create the relations regarding this model. So if we click on models activity, we have literally nothing yet, but something we can do is kind of say that this activity belongs to a project ID. There we go. And this will be belongs to. And to make PHP stand API, something I will do is type return belongs to project real quick. Yeah, I could potentially, set up some custom stubs so the migration doesn't have the down method. I do think that the down method should be removed from Laravel itself. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Does anyone, yeah. Do you guys think that Laravel should remove the down method by default? Yes or no? What do you guys think? João Santos and V0SN is asking why I don't have the down method. Basically, I don't have the down method because I feel like migration should only be forward, okay? So if I have, for example, a migration that is incorrect, for example, I should create a new migration to fix that problem. That's what I think. Emily saying that I never used the down method in production. Me neither, dude. Oh, great question from V0SN. Why I'm not using cascade deletes? So I feel like data being removed from the database is like a domain logic thing. So I want to control that at actions level, literally. You know what I mean? So if you have, for example, a complex list of tables, the last thing you want to do is literally have this cascade downs all over the place, and then by mistake you delete one database row, which end up deleting a bunch of stuff behind the scenes by side effect. Okay, so what I do is that I don't allow that to happen, and I control that on my actions. Okay, so if I were to delete, for example, a user, I will first delete each one of the projects individually to make sure I'm doing everything right, potentially deleting stuff from other resources, and then I'll delete the user once there is nothing attached to the user already. You know what I mean? I just sleep better at night if I do that. Well, effectively, migrations, like if you have data that needs to go for those tables in production, that's also part of a migration, you know? You call it, Luis, you call it seed, but literally, like, if you have data that you need to put on your database as part of the production environment, that's literally a migration already as well. Exactly, we don't need the down. I knew it. AJOL is saying that SQLite stores JSON as ordinary text. You see? I knew it, SQLite didn't support JSON. I knew it. Exactly. We need to be explicit about deleting things. That's right. All right, so this activity is related to a project, and we do have a JSON column, so we need to cast the events as array. I'm going to create a new, I'm going to use the method though. Yeah, I'm going to create the method. The protected function casts, and this will return events as an array format. Okay, really simple, real clean. By the way, the two videos about generics were also one of the most successful videos I had on my YouTube channel. Okay, if you guys don't follow me yet, I'm gonna send you my YouTube real quick. But my video about generics and my video about PHP stem regarding generic types, both were super successful. You know what I mean? So if you like that content, you know, just give me a follow on my YouTube channel, because I'm planning on just keep posting a bunch of that. But yeah, I'm happy that you guys liked it, you know, and planning on more content like that. I know some sort of advanced PHP content. Start the pull request to this to remove the down method. Tails is asking if I have renamed the repo. Yes, we have a domain for the project finally, after so many time. Let me show you. So the project is now called Penalize, and you know, we have a domain. You know, I'm gonna send you. There we go. There we go. We finally have a domain for this project, and we have also a GitHub repository for this, which is quite nice. We have 4 pull requests, which I haven't checked yet, but I will afterwards, okay? Exactly, Taylor may actually agree with removing the down method. We may actually do it, yeah, why not? Oh my god. All right, custom attributes will be only events. What else do I want? I want to write a test for this real quick. Activity may have a project, and project, of course, may have activities. So let's go to the project model and equally create this relation real quick. Let's type public function activities. And this will return all the activities for the project real quick. If you guys are curious, like, I know that a bunch of you are literally starting developing, you know, starting programming, and probably some of you don't program at all. So if you see sometimes like this code automatically appearing like this, like I remove this entire thing and suddenly I just do this, for example, this is called GitHub Copilot. And it's literally like AI auto-completing my code, okay? So kind of sees what I have at the moment already and auto-completes the information above with this context. So I have like pages already, which has many relation. So I wrote this in plural, so it's very likely that I want something like this afterwards. That's why, you know, it's just working. Yeah, we'll do a pull request. Do you guys think it's not the only thing I need to change is a stub, or do you guys think that it's a little bit more than that? I think it's only the stub, right? I mean, let's... Oh my god. Let me think a little bit. Sometimes, I'm gonna tell you something. You guys think that sometimes it's just one little thing, but there is so many things to think about. Like, you know, for example, if we were to remove the down method from these stubs, we probably need to remove the down method from any other kind of stub that already ships with the framework, you know. But we could think about this, like, you know, we couldn't think about this. Do it for the meme. Oh my god. I could let me think a little bit. Where are the stubs though? Source, resources, or something? Okay, let me think a little bit. Probably commands, perhaps console. Where are the stubs though? Search for public function down. Yeah, you see, like, there is a few things to think about. Like, for example, the default stubs that have like something like cache, they do have the down method. You know what I mean? Yeah, there is a lot of few things to think about. Like, there is also like documentation, which probably assumes that there is a down method. That's why I'm saying that it's not as simple as going to the stub and remove the down method, because then like there is this default stubs which have the down method, and you know, and the default stub wouldn't have, which is a little bit confusing, I feel like. So activities relation. Let's test these two relations real quick. I want to go to my tests folder, unit level, models folder. Let's remove this example test. We don't want to leave this anymore. Let's go to the page test and let's type the following all the way down. It has activities. So if I were to create a page with 3 activities, I would expect to have 3 activities on the relation as well. if I run this through past by typing tests unit models and then activity, no, page, no, project test. I'm on project at the moment. No. Okay. I need to come here though. There we go. And page not found. Let's include the page on top, which is not page. I meant project. The project is activities, not the page. There is a problem where events are being null. Typically, this means that I basically don't have yet a factory. So I'm going to go all the way down to database, factories, and to my activity factory and create a few things here. The first one is that I want to have a project ID associated to this activity. The events may be empty by default. Let's see now. And now I expect to have this working as expected. And I can create a test as well to my, to my activity test real quick. And this will have, I want to test the two-array method as usual on this model. There we go. So each one of the activities will have project ID, events, and 2 timestamps. And it is literally failing for some reason. Activity not found, of course. Let's import this. There we go. And finally, it belongs to a project. Josh is asking or saying that it's a little bit worthy to type, the full path for past PHP. You can create an alias if you want to. I don't think activities should belong to pages. I'm going to explain you why. Because sometimes you may actually be jumping between pages without actually refreshing the browser, you know what I mean? And I still want to bulk in kind of sending those events all together, you know what I mean? So for example, let's think a little bit. Like a single activity might look like this. Events. This is what I was thinking. You guys let me know what you guys think, okay? I want to if you don't agree with things, just say, okay? But the way I was thinking is that an event will have something like type visit, for example. And then this will have an URL. And the URL will be something like about, for example. This is how we know the page, by the way. And then we have like the referee and blah, 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 blah. But of course, the most important thing is that this will be an array, okay? Something like this. Oh my God, I'm gonna comment all this code so we don't have to deal with that. There we go. Oh, I'm gonna literally write PHP code, dude. Jesus Christ. All right, events will be an array. This array will have multiple events. Type visit about page. This will be type, average time, for example. And this will provide, for example, the URL, you know what I mean? And then we have something just below, type visit, and the URL will be different. Like dashboard, for example. And potentially in the future, we are going to have something a little bit different, which is type click. And this will be tag login, for example. You know what I mean? So all of this information is tied to a project. And when we are going to consume these events one by one, all of them will have an impact in a specific page. For example, the fact that I've visited this URL will increment the number of views on the about page. Okay, this is kind of the outcome from the queue job. But then the average time will also have an impact on the average time, which will be, views divided by average time, blah, 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 and then I will increment or decrease the average time. You guys know what I mean? Jean Santos is asking me how long will the backend be developed until the front end. I don't know. If I were to develop this alone, probably will be done in one day. But it just, you know, I like to have fun doing live streams. I like to go slow and just chat with you all. So after my explanation, by the way, do you guys still think that events should be tied to a page, or you guys think that it's okay and actually correct that events should belong to a project? Oh, you got the idea, Kari? Nice. That's cool, man. Oh, the client won't calculate the average time. The client will apologize. That will be a little more like time on page, basically. You know what I mean? The average time is something that exists in our side. Here we are going to have time on page, and this will be some sort of payload, and the number of seconds will be here, something like that. You know what I mean? You got it, Claudio? Nice. That's cool, man. How about people on YouTube? Some people on YouTube were saying that you still think that this kind of activity should belong to a page, but you guys get now that this is literally something that concerns the project. I don't think we should, you know, tie up this payload of events to a page, because those events that are inside, they may concern multiple pages. Do you know what I mean? Actually, like a clear example is this one. Like here we have 2 concerned pages, for example. You know what I mean? And once this is processed, the only thing it does is change the number of views and the average time on each one of those pages. By the way, if you just arrived to the live stream, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. I love what I do. I love PHP, I love Laravel. And I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube. And I'm publishing YouTube videos every single day at 1 p.m. And I'm developing currently a Google Analytics alternative. And we have started this project 2 days ago. And we are literally on the phase of, you know, set up the domain logic a little bit, making sure that we have everything ready to then set up an API that will consume events. And afterwards, we develop a front end. Yeah, also like someone in the chat is saying the events would hold a less payload if you tie to a page, but also if I would do that, we are going to end up with way more events. You know what I mean? So something I don't want to do is like each time you click on a different tab, for example, using something like inertia, I don't want to send like HTTP requests every single time. Thank you so much, Skate Cram, for becoming a member of my YouTube channel. Part of that, by the way, is that you get access to all the early videos. Exactly. So I don't want to send an HTTP request every single time people change tabs or change a page. You know what I mean? I want the user to be able to navigate through the platform. And once he's not like watching the platform, I'm going to send the event behind the scenes, you know, like the bulk thing. Exactly. Okay, I feel like now we're a little bit more aligned with how things should be, meaning that we should move forward. I'm going to delete all of this, and I'm happy that you guys, like, after understanding a little bit my point of view, also agree a little bit with my opinion, which is kind of nice, you know. Aram Guy Kerem Kram, thank you so much for resubscription tier 1. I really appreciate your support. And you guys know, like, every time you subscribe my channel, like, all the money will be reinvested on making the stream better. And I'm tomorrow receiving the microphone for Laracon EU. I'm so excited about that. I'm literally receiving a new microphone that I will taking for... So I'm going to explain you. At the end of the month, where I'm going to have this Laracon EU event, right? But then, like 5 days after, that is like the Vercel meetup, you know what I mean? So this is like 2 meetups on the same week. And with the money I get from the streams, I was able to purchase a bunch of stuff already, like a MacBook Pro, M4 Max, also a microphone. Okay, this is literally like, it's not the traditional microphone. It's like a portable microphone where I can literally cable to multiple people, you know, potentially to do interviews or to walk around the conference. I think it will be super fun. Yeah, all the VODs on my YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. Yes. It's not subs, like every, you know, even this current live stream will be available on YouTube. So you go to my YouTube channel, you see this live section right here. So you click on live and you have all lives. The current one, yesterday one, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, every single live is available, okay? I'm gonna send you the link in case you guys want to check it out. There we go. I have currently 36 memory RAMs, basically. That's what I have. I don't have them on Twitch because I don't have the VODs on Twitch because why I don't have VODs on Twitch? Oh, it's because basically Twitch is yeah, basically the ads on Twitch, they pay way less than YouTube, basically. That's why. João Santos is saying Varsal is at full speed at the moment. Wait to see Laravel Cloud though. Ruben is saying piece of advice for imposter syndrome. I would say that everyone have a little bit of imposter syndrome, to be honest. Even myself. I think like the best thing you can do is just literally say that you don't know. So don't protect your ego. Just say when you don't know things, just, you know, just say I don't know. Can you teach me? Can you explain me? And over time, if you just develop this thing of not protecting your ego, not trying to pretend that you are smart, over time just pays off and you feel more comfortable, basically. I don't think Steven is asking if I'm gonna keep those events on local storage. I don't think we even need to keep the events on the local storage, because if the customer is using an SPA, we can literally keep the events on memory. If the customer is navigating away though, then you use the beacon and we empty the queue, you know what I mean? But typically using something like an SPA or a JavaScript front end, we just keep the events on memory. That's it. Thank you. I never understood why Apple has 36 gigabytes of memory. Mohamed, I also got confused, by the way. Like, why would have 36 instead of 32? João Santos is asking, what are your thoughts on Laravel Cloud Rivals? I don't know, there is amazing products out there. I think, though, that Laravel Cloud is on a different level. But I don't know, man, you guys are going to see. All right, let's continue. Do we have a passing test suite, by the way? Let's run vendor bin passed -- parallel -- coverage real quick. Yeah, we have 100% code coverage, which is quite nice. Next stop is literally just sending all of this to GitHub and start working on the events. And we have two at the moment, the visit event and the time spent event. Oh, we have a misspelling, my friends, a misspelling. What do we have here? Oh, does custody exist, by the way? Oh, maybe not. Oh my god. Pack PHP is so awesome, don't you guys think? Hashtag Pack PHP, man, so good. Oh my god, Pack PHP, man. Oh my god, so good. I'm going to develop the front end using Inertia 2 and React, basically. I think, you know, I'm a big fan of Inertia 2, big fan of React as well. So I feel like both together will do a great job. So the attributes, what is the comment that is like on the model itself, by the way? Oh, the attribute that should be cast. Okay, interesting. There you go. Exathos is saying that MacBook M4 have 36 gigabytes because 4 gigabytes are soldered on the main board. Didn't know that. Tiago is asking if I have used Laravel Breeze for the login. I have not used Laravel Breeze yet, so I have literally nothing regarding the front end. I feel like if I were to have something on the front end, I'm gonna literally like just, you know, copy the Breeze files potentially, you know. But I'm gonna for sure use Laravel Breeze, not Jetstream. I personally think that I like more Breeze than Jetstream. What is your favorite, Breeze or Jetstream? Write on the chat. I'm curious about that. Mine is Breeze, by the way. Interesting. 45 by Jonas. Yeah, literally everyone writing Breeze. English is weird, Luis, that's why. Yeah, I see that everyone says literally Breeze. I'm gonna very likely to use Breeze. I'm wondering though if when we are going to do the front end, there'll be already Laravel 12 potentially. So I don't know, maybe not, right? Because Laravel 12 will take a while to be out. Okay, let's call this feat, activity, setups, models, and relations. Let's push this. Next up, events. Okay, so events. Let's go here into app folder and create a folder with the name enums, and we are going to have an event type, which will be an enum, and this will basically be what will be declare strict types on top. That's for sure. You guys know. Namespace will be app enums. And we have spatie? No. We have enum. And this enum will have what? Let me think. Yeah, event type, which will return a string, that's for sure. And which type of events we have? We discussed that one of them will be the visit, right? And the second one will be not a click at the moment, of course, but will be time on page. I don't like the time on page. How would you call an event which is reporting back to us how much time the user already spent on that page? Yeah, time on page doesn't sound like a good event, that's for sure. Someone wrote TTL. What is... Oh, well, I think I know what is TTL, but... TTL. People are mentioning retention, visit duration, time to live. Yeah, time to... TTL is not great, I think. Does not make sense. That's right. I also think that. Time spent, duration, activity duration. I'm gonna be honest. The ones that speaks better to me is probably visit duration. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about this? Oh, it shouldn't be visit, it should be view. That's right, man. View, and this should be view, and this should be view duration, perhaps. Johnson is saying strange to see enums in PHP. Dude, do you want to see something really cool about enums? They can have methods. That's the most crazy thing on enums in PHP. I love it. Claudia is saying just duration. The problem about just duration is that I'm afraid that let's do something like, what else can have a duration in the future? We can have potentially something that checks, you know what I mean, like other type of durations, and I kind of want to tie up the like this duration with the time spent on the page almost. Yeah, we'll need the duration for a few things, that's for sure. Well, one example is low duration, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. Let's assume, for example, we want to track how much time was until the page is ready, you know what I mean? So low duration will potentially be one in the future, you know what I mean? Or duration from over to click. That's right. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, like something really cool about enums, not a lot of people know about this, is that they can have, you know, literally methods. So something I can do here, for example, is type public function label, for example. So I can literally just say match the this to view, and then the, you know, the respective label will be view, and this will be just view duration. And what I can do, for example, is, you know, on any place on my PHP code, I can type something like event type, and then view, and just call this method label to fetch the view label, which is this given string. This is super powerful. I love this. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to keep view duration for the moment, okay? Keen to learn to change this in the future if we have to. For now, we don't. Therefore, I'm going to keep this for now. That being said, once we have a view type, once I have an event type, what do I want to do with this? Well, I potentially want to kind of use it already. I feel like I'm going to go to my activities factory, and I'm going to just kind of pretend that I have some events. I'm going to create a new event with type equals to, this probably would be better as an object, but for now, let's keep it simple. Event type view, and with the given value. And then we're going to have a payload. Exactly, this will probably be value object, that's for sure. Let's create here a value object real quick for this. Let's call this event. Let's create this, declare strict types on top. This will be a namespace app value objects, and this will be a final read-only class event, which will have a type. The type will be an event type. In the payload, what the payload is, the payload will depend on the event though, right? You guys know that. Let's set up some standards for the event though, for the payload. The payload might only be a string and a string, so we have to have a key and the value on the string format as well. We don't need this. This is fully read-only, so, you know, once created, it can no longer change. Meaning that now we can go back into our activity factory and just say that we have the following. We have a few events, which are an app event created, view, and the payload is URL, and the URL will be a fake URL. Do I want this? Probably, perhaps, I don't know yet. But for now looks cool. Let's not use name it parameters for now. Okay, and this will be a click. There we go, looking cool. This will be a view duration though. Rudy is saying that event is possibly an abstract class. Nah, I'm not using abstract class, dude. No way, not under my watch. Looks classy. I agree, man. I agree. Okay, we have a few events already, which is kind of cool. View duration, though, needs to be in seconds. And I'm going to have a random number real quick. Fabio Freire is asking, what are the advantages on creating a new class instead of a regular array? The advantages are that classes are type safe, basically. That's it. Runtime type safe, you know what I mean? That's it. Someone is asking, what is the difference between event type view and event type view dash value? So there's actually a big difference. One of them being that this is literally an object, an enum object, and when you type value, you are literally fetching this string right here. So this is a string, and if you don't call the value, we'll have this given type. You know what I mean? But that being said, I was thinking about something really fancy. Should I do it? I'm gonna do something really fancy, okay? You haven't seen this, but I'm gonna do something really cool. I'm gonna type here static function. I'm gonna type view, and this view will basically accept a string with RL and will return self. Oh my god. You haven't seen this, okay? Okay, can I do this like this now? I think it will be even a little bit more sexy. Kind of cool, right? I like this. There we go. Instantiating objects inside enums, huh? You haven't seen this, huh? I like this. It's kind of cool, I think. Exactly. We don't have anything else to do, for real, dude. Oh my god. Anyways, let's add some tests into this. If I go to my activity test, let's type the following. So I want the events to be casted as array, that's for sure. So do I have a passing test suite? See this? Unit models, activity test. Yes. Let's test, for example, what do I want to test here? I want to test anything to begin with. Let me think a little bit. Yeah, I want to test the default I had the count 2. Yeah, I probably want to do this like right here. There we go. And I'm going to test the following sequence. Expect. This will be an expectation, so I can type go. I expect what? Do I have keys? No. I expect the event to be instance of the event value object, and that's it. Because then I'm using a value object, which ensures me a little bit of type safety. There we go. Oops, almost. Failing asserted an array is an instance of that event. Interesting. What do I have here? By the way, not a lot of people know about this, but you can literally chain DD while working with past PHP, which is kind of cool. Oh, because it's a regular array on the database. This makes a lot of sense. Meaning that I'm going to test the contents of this array real quick. I'm also checking that fake URL gives me like an entire thing, so I don't want this. Can I literally request faker to give me like only the path thing, like URL path or whatever? I can't. Okay, I'm gonna literally hard code this to like about or whatever. Okay. There we go. Do I want this? Yeah, I'm gonna hard code the name as well, the number here. Almost. Oh, the URL comes on a payload though. It's very likely that we are going to end up using model events for the model value objects, basically, so we can literally ensure, you know what I mean, type safety, like a collection of events. But probably in the future, not for now. There we go. This will be 2. This, I think. Almost. Oh, it's an integer. Gotcha. All right. Oh, interesting. People are saying that you can use URI like here. I'm gonna still keep it hard coded, I think. No, there is no URI though. I could parse and whatever, but let's keep it hard coded for now. The type is the one from the enums already. You know what I mean? It's the one from the enums already. So we're chilling on that. Let me check. No, it's a regular string already at this point. All right, folks. This should do the job for now. I feel like the next natural step is literally having a passing testing suite and start working on some of those actions, okay? I want to make progress, actual progress, and not spending a lot of time like literally debating if this should be done differently. I'm going to run the entire test real quick to see how it goes, push everything, and start working on actions. Logic PR is saying that you have tied the payload to be string, but the view duration payload has a bug, which is an integer, right? And there we go. PHP Stan just told me that. How awesome this is. There we go. Yeah, should I accept an integer here? Probably, right? Because I don't want to make it mix it though. I'm gonna keep it the string for now, I feel. Go here. There we go. Yeah, that's a repo, panelize.com. It's currently, you know, it's currently the repo we have. I could potentially accept an integer and cast it to string. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I could do that potentially. Yes, for sure. You mean this? Yep, I could do that. Is PHP 10 happy with that? That's a question, though. It is. What was the test failing, though? Oh, because this is now a string. Oops. There we go. Let's run the entire test suite to see how it goes. João Santos is asking if you want mixed in Laravel. I very rarely use mixed on my web app. You know what I mean? Mixed is the equivalent of any if you don't have, you know, any PHP background. But yeah, typically any means, you know, kind of any type basically. So you want to avoid that a little bit. Adil, I don't want to tie up duration with views, so I'm gonna tell you something. Something I think will end up happening is that, let's assume, for example, that a user spends 24 hours on the same page. You know what I mean? So what will end up happening is that every 30 seconds or every 20 seconds, for example, I'm gonna empty the queue on the browser. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna send you like one view, and then the user spent 30 seconds on this view, then send it to the backend, and then you spend another 30 seconds on the same view. So it won't increment the number of views, but will increment the average time spent on the page. You know what I mean? So I cannot tie up literally those two activities, those two events. Need to be different ones. It's expected that the test to pass with a string, because on the enum, I'm literally converting the given integer to a string, okay? It's kind of expected. Let's push this. This is related to steal the activity and setups the events. Let's push this. Okay, so this looks clean to me. I'm happy with this so far. I feel like the next natural step is kind of consuming a bunch of these events. And for that, I'm going to literally create a new directory with one of my favorite patterns I have, which is actions. Now, actions is like the place where I encapsulate a little bit of the business logic that runs in runtime. So I'm going to create a new folder with the name actions, and I'm going to create a new file with the name create activity, okay? This will be the class that will effectively receive any activity through HTTP API, okay? So I'm gonna call this createActivity.php. And let's just set up this class real quick. Name, declare, you know, all that stuff. And let's call this createActivity. Now, typically on actions, you guys know about this already. The first thing I have on actions is literally my public handle function, which is kind of the, you know, the place where the entry point of the action is. You know what I mean? So create activity will return void for now, because I don't feel I need to return the activity back. And what this does is handles the action. And what I need to receive here is literally only an array of events. That array will obviously be something that looks like this. You guys know generate types. We can type something like an integer as key, and will be an event, a value object event as, you know, as in each one of those keys. And this will be attached to the argument events. Oh, yeah, of course. Just like this. Bam, bam, boom. Literally done. We can move forward and start processing these events, okay? What will happen now is kind of the very core business of the thing. We are going to process these given events to alter the pages row to increment the number of clicks, the number of views, and but also the average time spent on the page, okay? LogicBR is saying, I just joined the stream. Can you explain a little bit more of the strategy of timing, of what? Excuse me? Of timing the user visits the duration. Yeah. So for those who just arrived, my name is Nuno Madur. I'm a PHP and Laravel developer streaming every single day at 9 p.m. And currently I'm building a Google Analytics alternative. So far, we have started the project, set up some of the domain regarding database tables, but also Laravel models. And at the moment, I'm literally already processing the activity that comes from the browser, okay? We want to build an MVP. So we are going to be focused only in two things, the views, which is literally every time you switch the URL page, for example, and the average time spent on each given page, okay? To calculate the views, but also the average time spent, we are going to create a JavaScript library which will consume this information and send this information through our API. Our API will dispatch that to this action right here, and thanks to this information, we can alter a little bit the pages table, which contains already a few fields that we are going to mutate, one of them being the views, the number of views, and the second one being the average time spent on each one of these pages, okay? Regarding how I will do this on the front end, regarding, how we'll calculate what is exactly a view. So that happens on the, through a JavaScript library, which will calculate if the user is visiting a different page through an SPA or not, it doesn't matter. We are going to support all of that. But also, the average time spent will basically be like a clock. Once you go to a new page, I start the clock, I keep incrementing the clock, and once we are literally, ready to leave the page, I'm going to send that information to our backend so we can consume that, okay? You made your first pull request to Laravel framework. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome, man. I'm still not super convinced regarding the list type. Yeah, I'm still not super convinced, by the way. So yeah, overall, still using the array. You know what I mean? Even though the list is kind of the new recommendation. But I can question things. So I think I'm gonna use the array for now, I feel. What is the pull request? Can you guys send it to me, by the way? I see everyone laughing about a new pull request being made to the Laravel framework. Can you guys send me the pull request real quick? O is asking me, can you explain me why did you convert an integer to string there? Yeah, absolutely. So under, what is that? Yeah, under my enums folder, I have this event type. And what I have done here is that the view duration will be a new event with a type of view duration. And then I'm going to convert or cast the given string in integer to a string. And basically because this this general event class only supports key strings and value strings on the payload. That's why. Okay, let's see. A viewer just made the pull request to Laravel. Let's understand what I have done. What is this? Added support for DB pre-beat destructive commands to prevent destructive rollbacks. Interesting. But why would the rollback be destructive? In the sense that typically rollbacks, they do exist because you want to literally call the down method, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, I get like sometimes the down method may have drop if it exists, but that's kind of the purpose of the down method. Yeah, I don't feel like, I'm pretty sure this pull request won't pass, dude. That was a good, it was a good first try of a contribution, but I don't think this will pass. For the only reason that people still, some people effectively like the down method, you know what I mean? I would see removing the down method being more accepted as a pull request than this one. I don't feel this one will be accepted. It was a good try though, but I don't think this one will be accepted, dude. Let's work a little bit on this. Create activity. Do you guys want to focus, like, because effectively processing these events on the as a regular queue job is something that we can delay from the MVP. You know, the MVP, the only thing it needs to do is literally display some of this information on the front end. Effectively, if you want to ignore any performance concerns for now, we can effectively already read these events and perform the necessary database adjustments regarding the given events. What do you guys think about this? I think I want to get your opinions on this, because effectively something I could do already is kind of store this activity as a model, like do something like this. I think I'm going to do that I'm going to do that. I'm going to get that done because it's something that I have to do anyways. Let's do it right now. Yeah, fuck it. All right. So I have a few events which got validated already by the form request. So this information we are seeing right now is effectively already validated through form requests. We need to assume that. So something I can do is type the following. I'm going to type, I do need the project associated with these events though. So I'm going to type project, and then boom, just like this. I'm going to type project, activities, create, with the given events, and that's it. And this needs to dispatch a queue job. I could, you know, I had this in my mind that I could potentially have either a long-running process that will consume, you know, the pending activities, or I can just simply dispatch a queue job each time I receive one activity, which I probably will do this for now. Like literally each time I receive an activity, I'm going to dispatch process activities from the given project. Do you think overall, do you like the name process activity, or would you call this a little bit differently? We could call this potentially ingest activity, because effectively we are kind of ingesting that information to normalize that on the table pages. Do you like ingest, or would you see something else here? Josh, nice one, man. Ingest is a good name, Claudio? Oh, ingest with G. Thank you. Well, I have a question. Would PackPHP detect this? No! Wait, what? Interesting. I would expect PackPHP to do his job, though. But no. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I did save. It's a little bit awkward. I expect PackPHP. I think there is a problem with PackPHP at the moment, which haven't been merged yet, is that if there is no suggestions, I'm gonna not tell you that something is a misspelling. We may have to fix that. Oh, Cam, I missed your message on X. I apologize if the message is already a little bit old. I would invite you, like everyone watching on X or on TikTok, just move to Twitch or YouTube because it's just way better for live streaming. Arthur, welcome to the live stream, dude. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, it's cool to use PackPHP on this project, man. It's so nice. All right, let's do some of this already. Let's create a new job. Let's go here, create the jobs folder. I can actually use the artisan command. Let's type php artisan make job ingest activity. Did I suffix this with job? No. All right, this job will be queuable, that's for sure. Do we have anything on the constructor? Yes, we do. We have this activity model. And for now, we do nothing. Let's run Pint. There we go. Had some goodness right here. There we go. Looks cool. Let's go to create activity and literally just import this job class. Something I'm planning to do is literally encapsulate this within a transaction. I'm going to explain you why. I always encapsulate any kind of business operation within my actions within a transaction, because something I don't want to do is like end up with a bunch of leftovers of activities on the table that are not going to be consumed by this queue job. You know what I mean? So I feel like this entry should effectively be stored only and only if it will be consumed later by a queue job. So I'm going to put this within a transaction. Just like that. Real easy, real simple. Yeah, I love transactions, dude. I absolutely love transactions, man. Especially like MySQL, and not a lot of people know about this. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, people usually still have that old mentality that transactions are going to lock the table and will be a nightmare and blah 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 blah. Dude, it's not the case today. Okay, it's not the case anymore. Typically, software like MySQL, for example, uses something called row level transactions. Okay. Which is something like super smart. I'm going to tell you just a few examples how smart this transaction thing is, okay? For example, if you were to do something like, let's say, insert a new database, insert a new article, for example. You were to do something like article, create, and this would happen within a transaction, for example, okay? Like this, transaction. Okay? If this would happen within a transaction and at the exact same timestamp, you know, even if you had like a sleep inside of this deal, if like another transaction would have a same exact timestamp, like, you know what I mean? Something exactly the same timestamp, MySQL behind the scenes would automatically give ID number 1 to this one and ID number 2 to this one. And if for some reason this will throw an exception, for example, this ID number 1 will never be used again because it's literally marked as something that got used in the past. So there is no conflicts or potentially IDs that are incorrect, for example, okay? Or even like this ID number 1 will never be used on another transaction, for example. Another example is that people, again, think that if you are running something like article create with a sleep 1 within the transaction, you cannot query the articles table, which is, again, not true. So you can effectively query all of the table you want because this locking is being done at row level and it's only on this little new row, basically, okay? So again, not a lot of people know about this, but transactions are just awesome. And if you have any sort of business logic that touches on multiple databases in multiple tables, for example, encapsulate the entire thing within the transaction. So if everything were to go wrong at the end of the process, that will basically roll back the entire thing. Arthur, I never use events on Laravel, okay? I never use events on Laravel, by the way. I always use actions. What I don't like about events, you know what I mean? Like, let's assume something. Let's assume I were to use, you know, something here that says, let's dispatch an event that an activity got created. What I don't like about this is that it's not clear for me what is happening when an activity is created, because there is this side effects on my platform, literally listening for this activity created to do, you know, the different things. I'm going to give you an example that I feel like it's not a good thing when you are using events. Let's assume we have something like an email being actually sent to users when you create an activity, which is kind of a dummy example, but explains a little bit why I don't like this. Let's assume every time you have an activity created, you are listening for this event and sending emails. And you want to kind of use this action on your migration to kind of populate some data, you will end up, by side effect, sending emails to everyone because you simply don't know what are the side effects of creating an activity. You know what I mean? So typically, I want to be able to come here to this particular action and see everything happening, including sending emails, broadcasting whatever to Slack or whatever. I want to have the entire information right on my fingertips within this action. You know what I mean? I hope my explanation was clear. If not, let me know. Great question from Mario Marques. What will be our safe mechanism if the job fails? You mean if the job fails to be queued, or if the job itself, within the job fails? I feel like if the job fails, will be retried by Laravel itself, after a few seconds. So we are chilling on that. You know what I mean? Now, a good question is, if SQS is not available, let's assume, for example, that Amazon region 1 goes down, for example, and SQS is not available, we are going to not store this activity at all, which, which is something to think about, for sure. Claudio is saying that he moves it to a dead queue. Yeah, like literally we are going to, you're assuming that the job fails, right? That literally goes to the failed jobs, which potentially we can reprocess in the future if you want to. Okay, dudes, let's test this. Let's go here, because at the moment we shouldn't have like 100% test coverage. By the way, I'm curious, how many of you are using code coverage at the moment? Like, how many of you use code coverage at the moment in your project? Say yes if you are using, say no if you are not using yet code coverage. Oh my god. Okay, there's a few, most no's, but there's a few yeses. By the way, if your no is something like a not yet, maybe write not yet, okay? Melakog is saying, since your first stream, now I'm using code coverage. Oh my god, so good to read that. You guys working on it? Nice, man. Create a pool. I have no idea how to do a pool. Oh, on YouTube? Yeah, on YouTube I have to. I don't know if I can create a double pool. I want to keep the pool of the, of the like on top. You never wrote a test? Oh, okay. I hope my streams are literally inspiring you a little bit. That's cool, man. Luis is using the exactly. Do you understood why the exactly is so powerful? Like, not a lot of people. I'm like, something I have on my test suites at the moment is literally this. I got this because of Laravel Cloud. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a reason. So at the moment, my with past PHP you can have this exactly 100%, okay, or exactly 90%. And the reason why I'm using this, it's because if you have like something on the CI which looks like this, benefit past -- coverage, and then you type something like a minimum of 90.2, okay? If you have the pull request 1, which increases the coverage to 90.5, but then you have the pull request 2, which decreases the coverage to 99.2 again, you will never notice. So if you effectively have exactly 90.2, this pull request right here will never be merged because it will fail. So this guy will effectively have to go here and change this to 90.5. So when the second pull request comes up, it will fail on the coverage, meaning that is missing test right here. This is so good, man. I'm so happy about this contribution. It's really cool, man. By the way, if you are not using yet code coverage, it's something like totally natural, you know, like not a lot of developers are using this kind of tooling already. They are not, doesn't mean that, you know, they are bad or whatever. It just means that maybe they haven't seen it yet, you know what I mean? But I would advise you, like, literally go to this project, which is already online, and just take a look about this section of testing. Like, how many tools are you using and how many tools can be really helpful in our development. You guys saw, like, this is so useful. I'm going to show you something. Like, let's go here to our create activity, and let's, for example, remove this type int, this array type int, and let's also remove this project type int. If I were to run something like vendor bin passed -- type coverage minimum 100%, literally this will literally complain about missing types on my code, for example. There we go. Type coverage below expected. I expect 100% and I have 97.5. And I can just come here and just roll back this, and now I have 100%, which I feel it's super useful, you know what I mean? Oh, Richard, thank you for saying that. I was thinking for Laracon India, you know, I was thinking about making a talk that literally talks a little bit about my composer.json and the advanced PHP tooling I'm using at the moment. I think it will be a very good talk. John, exactly, it's kind of a new thing. I have introduced this on past 3, literally 2 weeks ago or something like that. Nuno effect. Thank you, Emily. Really appreciate that. All right, let's test this. I want to test this real quick and kind of save the ingest activity for later. So we have this action, and you guys know we mirror the app structure literally on our unit folder. So let's go here and create a new folder with the name actions at the moment, okay? This actions will have a new file with the name create activity test. Just like that, super simple. We have a PHP tag on top. We can run Pint real quick to make this pretty and nice. There we go. And what we can have here is simply a test that it creates an activity. So obviously, let's remove all of this generated code so we can understand what's happening. First thing we do is create the project, because creating an activity requires a project. The next step is literally resolving the action out of the container. This is something I always do. I'm going to tell you why in a second, okay? So typically an action like may or may not have dependencies, but over time you may inject dependencies on this action, like sub actions potentially. So you want to make sure that you resolve all of that out of the container so you don't have to worry about that, okay? And finally, I'm going to, call the handle method with a few events. And those events will be coming from the HTTP layer quite nicely, okay? This will basically receive a project, and the payload will be something like this: a view on the page URL about, and the view duration of 2 seconds. By the way, I just noticed we literally forgot the URL on the view duration, because we need that, right? Yes, we do. Let's add that real quick. Let's type here URL about. Let's go to event type. Let's accept as well an URL here real quick. Let's do the same here on the bottom. Bam, bam, boom. Probably are going to have a failing test suite. Let's skip this one for now. And let's run the entire test suite. Okay, in Activity Factory, I'm providing only the number of seconds, but I'm forgetting literally about, the URL. One test failing, which is literally a missing URL right here. This should be passing now, almost. Oh, the seconds is 2, not 30. There we go. Nice. I can run Pint. Nice. And I can go back to my create activity test and continue to work on it. this will effectively have two events. The first one will be a view event with a rel about and a view duration on the same about page, but of 2 seconds. I'm gonna JSON all of this. I'm gonna collect all of this and convert this to JSON or to array actually. This should just do the job. And I think that's it. There we go. Missing just a bracket here. Run pint. There we go. We always separate kind of everything. We have the, you guys know, we talked about this already multiple times. We arrange things, okay, which will be this too. Then we act, and finally we assert, okay? And there is two things we need to assert here. One of them being that the information got created on the back end. And the second one is that we do dispatch the queue job, okay? Cardozo is asking if it's worth to invest on Laravel. Absolutely, dude. I could be lying to you, but I'm not. I literally have learned PHP and Laravel web development from Laravel PHP. So this is the website, by the way, if you guys want to have access to. And Laravel is literally the place where I've learned PHP programming. Still remember back in the days where I was literally learning PHP from this platform, and at the same time I was listening to Laravel podcast season 3. Do you guys remember that? That was back in the days, man. Do you guys remember Laravel podcast season 3, where it was like literally Taylor Otwell, Jeffrey Way, Matt? It was such a fun season, man. That was probably my favorite. Let's read the chat a little bit. Cardozo, I would recommend you to probably start, for example, with a single month to really see if you are enjoying the platform. I'm a video learner, so I absolutely love literally learn through a video. I think you will love Jeffrey Way. And after that month, if you are still enjoying the content, which I think you will, just by the lifetime, because then it's done, you know what I mean? You don't have to think anymore. Over time, what I have, end up experienced with other people is that they end up buying like month after month and year after year. And then what ends up happening is that you spend more money than you would do just buying the lifetime, basically. You know what I mean? So I feel like, just do a month to get started and then invest on the lifetime if you are really enjoying the content. I think you will. Yeah, I've heard that Laravel is like working on exams. What did you saw that though? It's like already live? Okay. Oh yeah, watch and learn, test your knowledge. When you are finished with the lesson, immediately put it to learning and fingers test with our interactive exams. And now you can have exams and probably you have some sort of, proof that you have learned that topic afterwards, which is kind of cool. Yeah, my overall feeling is that I have heard stories that people just saying I should have bought the lifetime license because you know what I mean? But you guys do whatever you guys want to do, you know what I mean? Mario Mark is saying, why are you collecting to array? I want to basically serialize that value object to a regular array like you would come through a regular API, that's why. But I want to test that first. I'm not really sure it does what I want to do. So let's just write the assertions and then, come back into that to array to see if it does what I think it does. What I do expect, once I create like this thing on the database, I expect the following. Let's grab the activity. So this will be something like grab the first activity of the project. So first of all, I expect only one activity on that project. So if I type something like, project activities to have count of 1, that's for sure. And then that activity will be this one, meaning that I expect the events to be an array, to have an account of 2, and to have the following sequence. I don't feel that we need to do this, or I don't think we should. Yeah, we should. Let's kind of test the entire thing. I expect the event to be this one and this event to be this one. Yeah, looks cool. Let's see now if this toArray is doing what it should. I'm gonna run this. Let's type vendor being passed. It is doing what I think it does. Yeah. So you guys were asking like why I've done this toArray thing. It's literally to, let me think a little bit. Yeah, I don't need this. You guys were right to begin with. There we go. We're always learning. I don't know what stack is behind Laravel. That's actually a very good question. Let me try to inspect element real quick. Oh my god, I don't have inspect element on Safari. Are you guys serious right now? What is the developer tools thing? Menu bar. Oh, a lot of people on the chat are saying that Laravel uses view and inertia, which makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I don't think it's code ignited in jQuery. I think this is probably a very modern, software behind the scenes. Yeah. Anyways, you guys want to learn Modern PHP? This is definitely the place. All right, that was a good job here. There's one last thing we forgot, which is literally testing if the job got dispatched. So what I will do here is type on top queue fake, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to fake the queue, meaning that I want to be able to, dispatch a queue job and not actually do the thing behind the scenes. I want to be able to go to the end of my file and type that the ingest activity got exactly pushed to the queue. Okay. I don't want to see like, do I want to? No, I'm gonna just assert that this thing got dispatched and that's it. This is more than enough. Can I type like the number? Yes, I can. Nice. So this is literally like the number of times this given job got dispatched. Okay, I expect this to just pass. There we go. If I type like 2 here, this should fail. There we go, because I've dispatched just 1 and not 2. Makes a lot of sense. Are we back to 100% code coverage though? We should, right? Oops, not this one. Almost, that was close. Oh, 97.5. There is something not being tested at the moment, which is the ingest activity job, which we don't have anything so far. So I feel like we can go to unit and type something like, jobs, and create our ingest activity test.php. It can ingest events or activity events, to be fair. And this obviously will be a to-do. Okay. If I run binner being passed, this should just be passing. There we go. And we're back to 100% probably. Probably not, because I'm literally doing nothing. So what I think I will do is the following. I'm going to create that job real quick. Ingest activity, just like that. And obviously I need to create an activity first. Let's go here and type activity. Factory create real quick. And I'm going to equally import this ingest activity real quick as well. Bam, bam, boom. Provide the activity as a parameter, just like that. And finally, just call the job handle. And something I don't expect is perform Does not perform. Oh, expect not. Or how is it called? Not to perform assertions. I think that's it. No. Yes, it is. Nice. Okay, let's see the chat a little bit. Federico is asking, have you changed the SaaS repo on GitHub? Yeah, now we have a domain, man. Penalize.com. I think the history table, yeah, I think at some point, we're actually raising a very good point, which is what happens if the user wants to visualize the information like the last 7 days or the last, last 30 days or the last 90 days. So I feel at some point, these events right here are going to effectively be potentially stored on the events table, perhaps. I don't know. I need to think a little bit about that. But something that I know for sure is that I want to have that information close to my pages row, be just right there. You know what I mean? I misspelled activity on the test. Let me check that. I did? Where exactly? Oh, on the, you mean here? Activity. No, this is good, no? Why is it complaining though? Misspelled activity in the test. What do you mean exactly? Activity. Yeah, looks okay. What do you mean? Yeah, I fixed it probably. Nunumuru have been watching Prime Baba Boom. Why does Prime also says Baba Boom? Richard is saying that he gets the error no code coverage driver available. You need to enable coverage basically to have code coverage enabled. Fabio Freire is asking me if I have ever tested Cursor. I have tested Cursor and I still prefer PHP Storm with GitHub Copilot. I think, I'm not saying it's the case of Cursor, but definitely there is a lot of tools out there that they sell more than they promise, or they promise more than they actually sell. That's what I meant. Not saying it's the curse of Cursor, not saying the case of Cursor, but I feel like overall there is some AI tools out there. They just sell you, oh, I'm gonna just, do this entire thing. It will just work. It doesn't, I'm gonna tell you an example. There's a bunch of tooling out there that say that they will replace developers, for example, and then you just start using the thing. It doesn't do anything correctly, for example. Some tools say that it will build entire applications for you. You start using it, and like all the generated applications are literally bugged. And I've been seeing a lot of things out there, and my overall feeling is that AI tooling is, for the most part of it, still an experiment. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you an example. AI video generation, for example. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen any video so far that doesn't look like AI? Because for me, all the videos so far, they look like AI. I haven't seen like a full fleshed out video that I would say, fuck, like this literally looks like a real world thing. I cannot see the difference. In my opinion, like all the AI stuff so far is still promising a lot, but not delivering like what probably it's selling. You know what I mean? Although I must be honest, I feel like something that AI truly impacted my life is probably in two things. Undeniably, I'm faster coding with AI. Like literally auto completing while I'm coding is literally making me faster a little bit, And undeniably, like the text generation with ChatGPT, for example, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like you literally write the full README, for example. You ask ChatGPT to change the tone, to make it a little bit more humble, for example, or to fix typos, and it will literally work. You know, that actually works. I feel like the problem with companies like at the moment, like how is it called, the company from ChatGPT? I literally forgot the name. But the company that owns ChatGPT, basically, it's facing a problem at the moment where they actually deliver very well this text OpenAI. Exactly. I feel the problem with OpenAI at the moment is that they actually delivered a very good text generation tool. However, now every single thing is catching up. You know, like X with Grok, and you can see like other kind of text generation out there, like you know, the Google thing and whatever. Like all these companies are catching up with text generation, and I feel like the problem with OpenAI is that they have no ideas more. Like literally everything they are providing already, all the other companies are providing as well. So I feel like the evaluation of something like OpenAI will decrease like hardcore. You know what I mean? I don't know what you guys think, but yeah. Plus, like other companies are surpassing the capacities of OpenAI with Claude, for example. You know what I mean? Like Claude is apparently better than you know, GitHub Copilot at the moment. So I just feel like, you know, so far, the only real things that I can actually start using today is text generation or text rewrite. You know what I mean? That's undeniably, it's good. And code, basically. That's it. Yeah, I know, João. Basically, you mean the energy, the problem with energy regarding all those LLMs necessitating a lot of energy? Yeah. AI for audio is also very cool. I agree with you, dude. But overall, I feel like, you know, that is, besides like what is actually being delivered, either that being code or audio or actual, you know, text, there is also a lot of bullshit, a little bit, you know, like companies having being evaluated with a lot of money but then not actually delivering, you know. Plus, I've heard stories that OpenAI is not actually profitable, which is even crazier, you know what I mean? I'm gonna ask you something. Do you guys feel scared a little bit about the future regarding developers? What do you guys feel about this overall today? Do you guys feel a little bit scared that, for example, in 10 years, developers will be less paid because there is more people in less job positions? What do you guys feel about this? Okay, I see a lot of people saying, I'm not scared at all. João Santos saying that our job is safe. Peak and Flow is saying that I'm not scared, but AI will take a lot of jobs. Fabio Freire is saying, I am actually a teacher, and I do think that new developers will face a great problem. Can you elaborate on what the problem you think those new developers will face? I think I know, but let me know. Yeah, Ishmael, I totally agree with you. Which AI can replace writing code, but not engineers. Yeah, there will still be a need for someone to translate business requirements to actual software, basically. By the way, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm a PHP and Laravel developer and also a Laravel core team member. I'm building a Google Analytics alternative, and now I'm literally, you know, discussing a little bit about AI stealing job positions, which developers' job positions, which I think is not happening anytime soon, but so I'm gonna tell you my opinion about this, okay? My opinion is that The people who have heard saying that AI will replace developers actually have no idea what developer is about. What developers are actually doing every single day. Most of the time, we are not actually typing code on the keyboard. Most of the time, we are trying to understand the business requirements and how that will basically be applied on, or how exactly that will be translated to software. You know what I mean? Hi, Viviana. Nice to see you. Plus that, Fabio, I agree with you, like literally, Now, undeniably, I feel like overall, thanks to AI, engineering and computer science overall based positions are going to increase the quality of deliver, because software engineers like me and you, we are going to spend undeniably less time actually typing code. So I think like the quality of delivery of all these companies is going to improve, but meaning that companies will have more time and also more money to actually hire more people. Claudio, I think there is a lot of companies who already have learned in the hard way that they cannot simply fire a staff of engineers and replace that by AI, because it's just not the same. And even like when you hear people saying that I've replaced my engineers with this AI assistant, which is just like a software engineer, I haven't seen like a real world use case of that. You know what I mean? It's literally impossible to replace a human by a prompt. You know what I mean? I don't think they know what they are saying. That's why when I was in, I don't know if you guys have heard, you see like the guy who have done Facebook saying that mid-level engineers will be replaced by AI. I mean, obviously the guy have done like crazy claims already. For example, the metaverse that would replace like any kind of social interaction by this point, and he didn't. Like, there is no metaverse. Like, I haven't seen anyone with glasses outside. And the guy have said that AI would replace mid-level engineers like in 1 year or two. The guy is like, it's just out of his mind, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He has no idea, like, already at this point, what he's saying. That's just my opinion. Now, Paul is saying that not at the moment, but 5 years from now, maybe, I'm not sure, it goes so fast. Now, something we have to understand a little bit is that there is this culture of spreading fear. I don't know if you guys feel this, but I feel like in the last 7 years, there is always something that is trying to scare the shit out of us. Don't you guys feel that a little bit? Do you guys remember, for example, when Web3 was supposed to be the thing? And like all things would be Web3 at this point. And like, what is Web3? What is Web3? Like, what is at Web3? Like, nobody, I haven't seen it. Like, what is, you know what I mean? It really feels like at some point this AI bubble will just blow up a little bit, because many of these companies like OpenAI are getting crazy valuations, but not actually delivering, you know, the money to the investors. And at some point this will just boom, you know what I mean? That's what I feel about. some guy is saying that there is a guy at Salesforce that said the same thing, that AI reduced the need for 5,000 engineers. Do you have an article on that? I would be curious about that, though. But I really feel like in the last 7 years, 8 years, there is always something that is trying to scare developers and basically make them, you know, make them think that learning new things or like bulletproof technologies is not worth it anymore. I'm going to give an example. Like when people were talking about Web3, they were mentioning things like, you know, you need to learn Web3, will be the future. Everyone is literally like building on top of it. And people, like literally some developers opt for learning like Web3 instead of being learning like, you know, bulletproof technologies like Docker or, you know, regex expressions or, you know, a new language perhaps, or, you know, some of these good frameworks like Laravel. And I feel like with AI at the moment, a lot of people are cultivating a little bit this culture of you don't have to learn anything because AI will replace you anyway, okay? So just to recap a little bit and kind of finalize this topic a little bit, do not let like people scare you and make you feel that it's not worth anymore to learn these technologies. I feel like more than ever, it's just worth to learn the most as you can, because you will be better than any other developer super fast if you actually put the passion into it. You know what I mean? SEM, I bite my domain 5 minutes before the live stream. Peter Gins is saying the AI hype until something is the hype will happen until something very ugly will happen. I do think I'm going to be honest with you. I do think that if people are relying so much on AI, at some point, not a catastrophe, but at some point, like there will be an accident because of AI, and then people will probably question a little bit more AI. You know what I mean? That's for sure. For real developers, I do feel it's a real problem though, because I don't know what you feel, but I really learn when I struggle with things. And if AI will just solve all your problems, you will actually never learn the generated code by the AI, and potentially that, you know, makes you feel that or over time will not make you learn those things. You know what I mean? That's what I feel at the moment. Space Deal Love Lamp. Oh my god. George is asking, just curious, do you guys plan to keep programming for your whole life? Or I am the only one who wants to retire as soon as I get the chance, like in 5-10 years? I plan to literally code my entire life. Yes, I love what I do, and you know, I want to be a software engineer for the rest of my life. That's for sure. I want to create things. I want to be with people that are as passionate as me. So, you know, if you basically want to retire in 5-10 years, that's fine as well. You know, every person is different. Yeah, but Web3 was it was a fun topic though. People were like, you know, going crazy about that. Kalafi is asking me, hi Nuno, I'm new to a Laravel world. Can you give me a good reason to use Laravel instead of something like React or Next or even Vue with some kind of backend framework? Yeah, absolutely. So something like Laravel or Rails, for example, but Laravel is something I like to call the batteries included framework. So you can literally develop your front end and your back end just with one technology, meaning PHP and Laravel. And what it's cool about that is that it comes with so many features, payments, database, queues, session, caching. Like there's so many stuff on the Laravel ecosystem that it's just hard to mention everything at this point. But you can develop a full application just by using Laravel. And some of the technologies you mentioned, like React and Vue, that also combine very well with something like Laravel. For example, I have many applications with Laravel on the back end, Inertia in the middle, and then React on the front end. But I know that, for example, you can also cable Next.js with Laravel if you want to. Johnny is saying that I love coding, and if you do, it's maybe not the right career for you. I feel like a lot of people that I've known in the past only discovered their passion for programming when they actually connected to other passionate developers. So, sometimes it just takes a while to sink in, you know what I mean? So for me, I cannot say it was the same, but after finishing university, probably like for 1 year or two, I wasn't connected with any passionate developer. And once I connected to people that actually like to go to meetups, like to learn new technologies, like to speak about computer science after work, then I got into it, So sometimes it just takes a little bit. Canon is asking me what is my opinion on Fast API. I don't know what Fast API is. Khalidi is saying, I appreciate, man. You're welcome, dude. Claudia is saying, started this week a new job as a Symfony on the backend. Great framework, but I miss the power of Laravel. Yeah, Symfony is also cool, right? But indeed, there is some more, pieces that are important for a web application that you may find on Laravel. That's for sure. Amit is asking me if I am playing futsal. I'm not playing futsal anymore. I literally hurt my knee last year. I got surgery, and now I just run every single day. I didn't run today though, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow morning. Alpaki is saying Symfony is better to microservices. I think it's not related. Like you can literally build a microservice architecture either with Symfony or Laravel. Undeniably, I feel like you want to stay away from microservices, okay? Something I have learned a little bit over time is the mono repository is literally the best thing in the planet. Like mono repo, monolithic, where you have like your entire application in one single thing. Just works a little bit better over time than microservices, because I also think they promise something that they don't really sell. At least that's just my opinion. Yes, I did my computer science degree on university. Yes. Crash System is saying we should totally hang out. Yeah, let's do it. Where are you from? Yeah, microservices, I have learned from experience that, again, well, besides there is multiple things to think about. Like when you have something like microservices, first thing I think about this is that there is literally already multiple deployments, okay? So each time you deploy something, you need to deploy something that is retro-compatible with the previous version of the other services in the new one. On top of that, you need to basically, literally maintain multiple repositories, multiple applications, which is another problem. And then the biggest problem, in my opinion, is that you need to develop this sort of contracts between microservices where, because you need to communicate between them, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of work. And then the promise is that things will be easier to maintain, which it's just not my opinion. But you know, you guys let me know. You probably also have experience with these kind of sort of things. João Santos is saying, Python framework to API, Django is the most used, by the way. Yeah, Django is kind of the Python alternative for Rails and Laravel, right? Yeah, man, I feel like monolithic is literally the way to go. That's just my opinion, okay? Crash Systems is saying, I cringe when I go and look back to someone project because it's doing weird thing and it is like 30 repos and God know only... Yeah, dude, it's just crazy, man. Not even thinking that every single repo have its own dependencies. And then you end up with things like, you know, one microservice is migrated to this particular version of dependencies and the other one is not. It's such a nightmare over time, you know what I mean? I have seen like big companies migrating from microservices to monolithic, you know, because they want to simplify a little bit the stack. Even if the companies would have reasons to use microservices, I feel like, you know, they don't actually sell what they are, you know, what they are promising, you know. So John Santos is asking me, what is my opinion on serverless? That's probably a topic for another day, but I think 99.9% of the typical web developer does not need serverless. You know what I mean? There is two reasons why I don't think serverless is the best architecture. One of them being, like, most of apps don't need to go big. You know, typically, for example, with very little money, like $40, you can have a beast running on DigitalOcean, for example. And I feel like that beast running on DigitalOcean will probably handle, you know, the most complicated traffic that you will ever get in your application. And typically, you know, something like serverless is ready to scale until the infinite, you know, typically. And most companies do not need that. They think they do, but they don't. You know, typically a DigitalOcean server just handles the needs quite well. Code Cannon is asking how old I am. I'm 34. Khalid is asking, for an onion panel, it's a good idea to use Laravel Nova or Filament. I think both are great. You know, Laravel Nova, I'm using it already on Laravel Cloud and I like it. Filament, I have tried a couple weeks ago and I also like it. There is also the fact regarding serverless, which is it's just way more expensive than regular service. Okay, it's undeniably one of the reasons why for something like this project right here, I would never use serverless. I would just, you know, put this on Laravel Cloud and just it's done. Imuka is saying, I'm glad that I've skipped microservices and never have to do anything like that when it becomes a maze. Plus that, yeah, that's right. Plus, like, something that people, you know, not a lot of people think about, but I'd rather work on the simple project than working on a project that is like ready for any kind of future. Typically, developers really like to solve problems that don't exist, basically. Okay, and sometimes when people are developing or architecturing a software, they think like, you know, I'm going to build this to be ready for, you know, any kind of possible future. And what they forget is that over time, for the other developers, they would rather have something really simple and just implement like what it's need for the present than having this project that now, because it's ready for all kinds of futures, it's just super complicated to understand, you know? But you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? There is also the fact that when you go with microservices, you probably end up with different stacks, meaning different languages, meaning different architectures. It's just truly a nightmare, to be honest. Code Cannon is asking, what does serverless mean? Serverless is kind of this new technology, mostly popularized by AWS. And what it does is that technically you just pay what you use. So your website can be ready to handle 1 billion requests per second, technically, even because the Lambda function, which is what takes the request, can scale infinitely, you know, horizontally, basically. And once you don't have any requests at all, we'll scale back to pay nothing, basically. You know, that's serverless. So it's like when you have a digital, like a fixed server on DigitalOcean, for example, you are literally paying a fixed amount of money, you know, and you can handle up to X amount of requests. And with serverless, if you don't have requests, you don't pay anything. But if you have a bazillion of requests, you will also pay for those bazillion of requests, which is probably a scary thing about serverless. Yeah, plus like something really crazy, dude, which, you know, sometimes people, when they are thinking about traffic and think about like, you know, like I will have a bunch of users. Having like 100 users per day, it's nothing. Having 100 users per hour, it's nothing. Even having 100 users per minute is literally nothing. You know what I mean? In order to be able to justify that you need like a beast server or serverless, you actually need something like, not like Facebook, but close to it. You know what I mean? Space Lamp is saying, do you have any courses on past PHP? I don't at the moment, but I think there is a course on Laracasts. You can learn from there. There is the course, I think it was done by Luke Downing, which is an amazing teacher. Yeah, Past-Driven Laravel is the name of the web course. João Santos is asking me if I work with AWS daily. Yes, pretty much every single day for the last, since I can remember, to be honest. Yeah, man, AWS, like, you know, it's like this nightmare in terms of UI of the dashboard and API as well. But, you know, they have services for pretty much everything at this point. Databases, you know, a lot of things. So I end up just using their services for my stuff. They have really, really cool services like S3, for example. But yeah, I work with AWS every single day. Faro is asking, this is the third time I'm asking this question. Apologize, dude, I may have missed it. I apologize about that. I have a Livewire application and I want to create a database backup and restore function through Livewire component. Can you help? Yeah, perhaps. I mean, the few ways of solving something like that is that probably you can use soft deletes in Laravel. So you can have a row, for example, on the database, which is soft deleted, and clicking on the restore button, for example, that will just restore the soft deleted record. That's just one example. Sassar is saying serverless is too complex for beginners, in my opinion. Yeah, it's complex if you were to set up everything by your own, but you can use something like Laravel Vapor, which literally sets up the entire thing for you. I worked on Laravel Vapor for 3 years, So definitely, if I were to use serverless, I would go through Laravel Vapor. Pekin Flow is saying AWS needs a version for dummies. It's so complicated. Yeah, I mean, that's why I use Laravel Vapor once I want to host anything on AWS, to be honest. Arthur is saying it is expensive. I mean, no, like if you don't have any traffic, it will be like literally zero. The bill will be literally zero. The thing is that you want to customize that. You want to be able to, you know, understand if you are going to get serious traffic. If you get serious traffic, it can become expensive, that's for sure. Emily Dev, see you tomorrow, dude. By the way, tomorrow I'm thinking about streaming probably a little bit more. Tomorrow I do have the day off, so I will probably stream for 3 hours. I have a question for you guys. What do you guys think about the current schedule? Like, I'm streaming every single day at 9 p.m. Would you rather, you know, have my live stream at 9 p.m. or 6 p.m., meaning 3 hours early? Because right now I'm streaming at 9 p.m. and I kind of like this schedule, if I'm honest. But what do you think about, would you prefer, for example, at 6 p.m., meaning 3 hours earlier? What do you guys think about that? Wow, literally everyone on Twitch saying 9 p.m. Interesting. Exactly. I'm also happy about 9 p.m. 9 p.m. it's a little bit more quiet here at home, you know. And it happens just after dinner, so I can have, you know, finish work, have dinner with wife, come for live stream, and I finish around 11. Today it's already midnight already, but typically I finish around 11, which allows me to do some gaming with friends, and I like 9 p.m. So I'm happy that most of you, if not everyone almost, likes 9 p.m. Tomorrow we may start actually a little bit earlier, but we'll still be around 9 p.m. for sure. But yeah, just to recap a little bit, tomorrow we'll continue to work on this Google Analytics. And I feel like the next natural step on this will be actually code this ingest activity job to handle, you know, those activities. And then we are going to install Laravel Sanctum to actually develop an API. The API will have some sort of, you know, a very simple thing like penalize.com, API v1, and then possibly something like activity. This will be a post to actually create the activity. And then the only thing we are going to do is two things. Add a form request to validate the given input, and also dispatch that to our action, which does the job we want already, okay? Assuming that we code the ingest activity. From this point, I feel that the next natural step would be have some sort of UI which allows two things. The first one is allow users to register in our platform. The second one allows users to add a project and get back a token they could use to send activities through a JavaScript library. So I feel like we are making good progress, and out of nowhere, we should get this ready real soon. Crash System is saying, coming from raw PHP, I feel like I like how Laravel works. Yeah, man, Laravel is literally the GOAT. You will love Laravel, I can promise you that. CodeCanyon is saying that you speak very clearly, you don't use complicated words. That happens because I'm not native, so even if I wanted, I don't know those complicated words. I appreciate you saying that, though. Thank you. Johnny's asking if I am on PT. Yes, I'm literally on. I'm Portuguese and I'm from Portugal, So I have the same time zone as UK. It's 4 a.m. Asan in your side? Oh my god, apologize, dude. You should go sleep. All right, dudes. I think it's time to go. I catch you all tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow I'll be back with some more coding. Let's rate someone real quick. Let's see who is online as usual. See who is streaming on the developer section. I see someone here doing TypeScript in React, so let's rate that person real quick. If you don't know, if you're watching me from YouTube, literally I rate every single live stream. I rate someone, which is literally redirecting all my Twitch users to another streamer. I'm gonna do that, okay? So that being said, that was a very nice live stream. I had a lot of fun, and we made good progress. And I catch you all tomorrow, okay, for some more content. All right. Catch you all tomorrow. Love you all, and peace out.